hockey fans, it's Brian Gomez again with the Colorado Springs Gazette, and you're listening to the Thursday, January 19th edition of the CC Hockey Show. I'm going to be talking tonight about the Minnesota Golden Gophers, the Tigers' opponent this weekend at Mariucci Arena in Minneapolis. Before I get going, I just wanted to say that I love the comments and the discussion and the back and forth on the CC Hockey Facebook page about Scott Owens locking out Jaden Schwartz. I think there's a lot of very valid points on both sides, and I just wanted to throw that out there right off the top that I can see both sides of it. I can see the argument that, hey, maybe you don't want to do this weekend. Maybe do it any other weekend but this weekend when you're playing at the number 4 team in the country. And then I can see the other side of it where, hey, this team is 2-3-1 since the holidays, and they've been struggling, and you need to light a fire under them. So I can see both sides of it. I love the discussion, and I just wanted to get that out there right off the top. Switching gears to the Gophers, it's going to be a tough weekend for CC, no doubt. Going in there, They've lost 7 of their last 8 at Mariucci. It's a place that holds 10,000. It's a tough place to play. And really what makes it tough is just the fact that Minnesota is so good there. And they're coming off a weekend where they split on the road at number 17 North Dakota. They've got 16 wins on the country, most wins on the season, most wins of any team in the country. And even their 8 losses that they have, 7 of them have been by 1 goal. I mean, only Wisconsin has beaten them by more than 1 goal this year. It's pretty amazing just how dominant they are when you start crunching some of the numbers. You look at their offense, second in the country, right ahead of CC at 4 goals a game. But even more impressive, when you look at their defense, they're 4th in the country in scoring defense at 2.12 goals a game. Their power play is explosive, not quite as good as CC's, but just a hair below at 23%. Their penalty kill, 83%. They're a little bit more average there, but they know how to lock down. They get up and down the ice. It's a unique team because they get up and down the ice, but they're only giving up 25 shots a game, and they can also lock it down in the zone. And they're the type of team that you don't want to get behind. If CC gets behind in this game, Minnesota, they can flip the switch and they can, make it a 6-2 game like that. Or if they want to lock it down and keep it a 1-goal or 2-goal game, they're also capable of doing that. And like I said, it's really the players that make them so explosive. You look up and down their roster, and they've got 17 NHL draft picks on the roster, and really the top line with the Kyle Rao, Nick Bujstead, and Zach Budish. That line accounts for roughly 1/3, a little under a third of their scoring. 19 goals on the year by Bujstead, 13 by Rao. He's the younger brother of former CC center Chad Rao, as you remember. And they're just really balanced. They've got a lot of depth, and they've got a hot goaltender. I mean, Scott Owens said Kent Patterson's probably one of the best goaltenders in the WCHA. I'd go as far as saying he's one of the top, if not the top goaltender in the country. He's played every single minute, 1,500 minutes on the year for Minnesota. He's got 6 shutouts on the year, 2.12 goals against average, and a .918 save percentage. There's really no weakness on this Minnesota team. They lost Nick Larson with a broken wrist over the weekend in North Dakota, but they've got so much depth that they're the type of team that you have to be playing well, and you can't. CC's done a good job of not taking silly penalties and not putting themselves in bad situations, and they really have to continue that. And a lot of their success, when you look at the guy on the bench, Don Lucia, Tigers fans are very, very familiar with him from all his time at CC. He's got over 500 career victories, and 166 of them came while he was with the Tigers. And you remember that 1996 national championship game against Michigan. I'd heard a little bit about that game, and I actually went back and caught some highlights on ESPN from that CC Michigan game. And I just wanted to play about a 3-minute segment. I thought it'd just be kind of fun to take a step back and kind of look at what was really sort of the pinnacle, even though CC lost that game in overtime to Michigan 3-2 in '96 and wasn't able to break that title drought. You know, it was kind of the crowning moment and sort of the defining moment, I think, of CC, of Lucia's time in Colorado Springs. And here's just a little look with ESPN on the call of CC and Michigan from 1996.
Welcome inside now, Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati, where just about a capacity crowd of nearly 15,000 is on hand to watch the Michigan Wolverines battle the Colorado College Tigers for college hockey's national championship.
I think that Colorado College just increased their chances to be in the hunt this one.
There's a shot to score! Bill McCall got a perfect pass in the slot.
Well, it doesn't take long to change that. I was about to say that they have been able to hold Michigan off the board early, but that turnover right along the sideboard, and all of a sudden it's 1-0.
Schmidt still with it, back out to Elfring. Cross ice to Rude. Rude lets one rip just wide, stick side. Now it's Schmidt in front, he scores! Here, Geronazzo! But the Tigers are back on it with 14:35 to go in the second. Dan Remical. Colin Schmidt, the shot deflected well wide high. Geronazzo. Colin Schmidt in front, Geronazzo again, rebound, score! Remical! Once again, Marty Turco is swimming around in the Gophers area. They still have a power play for just about 60 seconds. Halko, top of the circle, gets through. Bach was a little bit screened on that play.
Yeah, I never saw it. Elfring blocked him.
The shot was not on the goal, though. Here's a shot from the left point. Bach is down. Comes back out. Now here's Halko. Halko puts one in on goal. Shot, score! Mike Leg is tied it for Michigan. Sloan was in the garden spot ready to let her rip. Now Halko into the corner. Colin Schmidt. Oh, it's taken away. Schmidt's pass intercepted. Greg Crozier blocked in front. Shot, save, rebound, score! The gorilla is off his back in Ann Arbor. Brendan Morrison has ended this game in 3 minutes and 35 seconds of overtime, and Michigan, the national champions of college hockey.
There you have the call courtesy of ESPN, the gorilla off of Red Berenson's back after the Wolverines defeated the Tigers in the 1996 national championship game, and maybe that gorilla is now on Scott Owens' back trying to break this national title drought. But that was an amazing game. I hadn't really watched much of that game. I just knew a little bit about it. And if you actually search for that, you search CC Michigan 1996 on YouTube, there's a great video, highlight video that I took some of those clips from. And man, there was a spot there in that game in the third period with CC up 2-1. And I forget who it was, but somebody was in the slot, just had a shot on Turco. You got to figure if CC goes up 3-1 in that game, they probably hold on and win. But Don Lucia, going back to him, I wanted to spend the last part of this show just talking about him. And he talked earlier this week about the Tigers and his familiarity with CC and sort of his respect for CC and his feelings and how CC is still a quality team despite their struggles. And he talked on his radio show on Monday, and this is courtesy of the Frozen M, the official blog of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Here's Don Lucia on his radio show talking about this weekend's series.
CC likes to play a little bit more maybe like we do and get up and down the rink, and they're fast, and they've got a very veteran team. So, the speed factor will be much more important this weekend for us in our preparation. We haven't played them in over a year. Just the way the scheduling, we only played them twice. Last year was in October, and here we are playing them in January, so we're at almost 15, 16 months later. Yeah. But they had a very good close to the year last year. Knocked out BC in the quarterfinals and was a goal away from the Frozen Four last year, and they returned, majority of their team. 5 of their 6 D are back. Their goaltender's back from last year's team, and I looked at it, I think they have 9 or 10 of their forwards that played at the end of last year returning. For their team, the Schwartzes, that's where it begins with. The 2 brothers, one was a first-round pick of St. Louis, played with Canada here at the World Juniors, and then his actually older brother's having a great year. I think he's got 17 or 18 goals, so they've done very well. Mike's son Gabe Genzel is their top defenseman. He's having another good year as a senior, and he's their main guy on the back line. In nets, it looks like actually a younger kid is kind of taking the position over Thornburg, kid out of Western Canada, and I think that's the guy we'll see both games here this weekend. And so it's a big series. I mean, they beat St. Cloud, lost in overtime to St. Cloud on Saturday night. We're 4 points up on them. It's only 2 games we see them this year, and certainly it's a team we're going to be fighting for with a spot in the standings come the end of the season, because they were picked, I believe, preseason second in the league. Yeah. And they're a good team. They're a quality team. They're a deep team. They can skate. They can get around the rink. And I think you're right. Our fans do enjoy this series as much as any, usually all year long. It's not the big rivalry and intensity maybe when a North Dakota comes into our buildings, but for the skill and the way the game is played, I think our fans really enjoy this weekend. You don't have the same feel of their players. I mean, when you play somebody, we could have seen somebody 4 to 6 times in the time we haven't seen CC, and so you just have a better idea of their players because until you're really sitting at ice level and watching a team perform, that's when you get a better feel of how quickly they get around the rink and how skilled the team is. But we have a pretty good idea based on what they've done over the years and how they like to play of what they're going to do.
That's Don Lucia, the Minnesota coach, talking about facing CC this weekend. It's going to be an interesting series for the Tigers. They, like I said on last night's segment, they go into the bye after this, and it's just a question of whether they're still going to be reeling or whether they have something positive to kind of hang their hats on going into the bye weekend. And, recapping here, looking at this weekend, you'll see Jeff Collette up there on that top line with the Schwartz brothers. I would think that Aaron Harstad would be back at one of the defensive pairings, and I would think that William Rapuzzi would probably be back on that third line now. I would expect it. And I'd be shocked if Josh Thornburg doesn't start both games this weekend. The only way I see that happening is if he got blown up or something on Friday night. I just don't see them going with Joe Howe. The one oddball thing, I mean, Howe is a native of suburban Minneapolis. Not like that should really play much of a factor, but it's something to keep in mind. And Owens has shown a lot of loyalty to Howe, I think, despite some of his struggles. That's about all I've got. I think that just in closing that Friday night's really going to be big. You got a quick turnaround, an earlier start on Saturday. If you lose that Friday night game, I think for CC to get a split or to even have a sweep, obviously they have to win Friday night. But even to get a split, they're going to have to win Friday night. If they lose Friday night, I just see this weekend getting away from them. That's all I've got. Make sure to check out the Eye of the Tigers blog on Friday and Saturday. I'll have live updates from Minneapolis, and you can participate in the fan chat. We had some good comments last Saturday. I'd like to keep that going. That's it for now. I'm Brian Gomez with the Colorado Springs Gazette. Thank you for listening to the CC Hockey Show.